Hi everybody, I'm Mike Cervantes, Editor-in-Chief of Daily Girth, and welcome to our newest Girthcast. We're going to be talking about NBA season. We're at the halfway point. We're talking about the favorites so far. Joining me today we have the Rolomite.
Hey, what's up?
And we have Death Dealer.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So obviously, as far as championship goes, one of the biggest busts so far will be the Lakers. And we're not going to be talking about them on this cast.
Come on, man. Don't get the Lakers out, man.
We're not going to be talking about them on this cast. We're going to have a separate one. So we're going to go with the other favorites so far. I think there's been about a handful of teams that you could probably place as the favorite. But the one featuring the best player by far in the NBA got to be LeBron James. LeBron James and Miami Heat. They're the defending champs. And
what about Durant, man?
Durant's a great player, but right now LeBron's having this insane, what is it, that 30 points, shooting 60, 70 something percent over the from the field. That's unheard of numbers for anybody in NBA history.
Like what is 60%? God, I mean, it doesn't sound that hard to get, but I mean, because what if you take like 4 shots and you make 3, you're already at 75%.
That's 75%, yeah.
So what does he have to do? Make
6 out of 10 shots.
6 out of 10, huh?
I mean, think about it. It'd probably be 6 out of 10 shots just shooting by yourself at out on any court.
And for others, it'd be even lower.
But that's not. That's just on the field. That's not even the free throws, huh? That's a whole other.
Yeah,
shit, huh?
I mean, it's 60, 70% with guys in his face. A lot of times he's getting fouled.
I hate that.
And he's putting it up
he
anyway.
Just runs into people and just gets it.
I wonder if over the years if he's gonna get an injury or something, because he just fucking runs into. He's like, boom.
He just takes all the hits and he just keeps going. And in the future, you think that'll weaken him?
Well, I mean, it should.
Like an older player.
As an older player, he's not going to be able to do this stuff. But right now, he's in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still in his technically mid 20s. He's going towards the late 20s, but he's in his prime and he's in incredible shape.
Yeah, well, Durant. That's why I wonder if he's gonna get pick up some meat on his bones, try to get because he looks better this year. He looks like he's getting more.
I don't know. I haven't seen him really gain any size though, has he?
He's gained some size.
He doesn't. I don't know. He just looks so small in comparison to he looks thin. Real thin.
One of my friends told me he's all, but you gotta think too. How old is he? 24 or something?
He's young.
Imagine he's not he's probably barely getting into his adult body.
29.
No, younger than that.
I think he's 24.
He might be 24, maybe 23.
Because I think it was 23 last year.
Maybe he hasn't had a birthday yet, though.
But that's what I'm telling you. Imagine, when he hits, around that close to 30, he's going to be, in the adult frame and stuff like that. If
you look at all NBA players, their body is different. 5 years as opposed, in their 5th year as opposed to their rookie year. If you look at a Kobe Bryant, this guy was rail thin. Coming out as a 17, 18-year-old kid. But if you look at year 5, when he was winning championship with Shaq, he was bigger. He was cut. You got to have some size in order to, take those hits in the NBA. Because even though it's not football, try dunking over a few guys, some guy's body, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
So, I mean, Durant, he's great. And he's got Oklahoma City rolling. So far, they've been pretty much injury-free. As long as Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant are healthy, that team's going to get going. And they don't miss James Harden.
Serge Ibaka, and then they got,
so they
Kevin Martin? Yeah.
They haven't had it, been, handicapped without
him. That was a sick trade, man, trading Harden for that guy.
Because I heard that wasn't at the start, without him, they kind of struggled with it, but then they got over it, or what?
Well, I mean, Harden's an incredible player, but so are Westbrook and Durant. Obviously, most people would say that they're a better team with Harden. But I mean, sometimes you got to make these deals. The best example that I can think of a team getting rid of a near great player would be the Lakers early on. They had young Kobe Bryant. They had another youngster by the name of Eddie Jones, and Eddie Jones was this great defensive player.
I like that guy.
He could probably have been an all-star on some teams.
Also had some nice shoes.
He did, yeah. But the Lakers, they shipped Eddie Jones out, not because he had a bad attitude. He had a great attitude, and he was a great defensive player. Great, he fit their system well. But they figured No, he didn't have a bad attitude, but they figured, okay, we got to choose one, and they chose Kobe Bryant. Now, obviously, in retrospect, yeah, that was the right move. But at the time, don't you think that the Lakers would have been better off having two great players?
Yeah.
Right? Well, just like the Thunder, they would be better off having Harden. But, that's a different story. That's like a money thing.
So Kobe was better than him already? Or
than Eddie Jones?
Yeah.
Well, Kobe Bryant was getting there. He was getting there.
So they saw that he was going to be the next.
He's going to surpass him real easily.
Yeah. So it looks like the Thunder, they've moved on from this Harden thing. And they're good still. I mean, they're great.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not.
If I were to say there was a team from the West, they would still be the favorite, I think. As long as they're injury-free. You can say that about pretty much any team.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, out of the Spurs, you can never count Pop out, man. That guy just is... You give him a piece of shit, and that food turns into gold, man. Like, all those rookies and stuff, all of a sudden they're good players. People talk about Tiago Splitter, who's a Diao, and nobody's. And look at they're like number 2 or something in the West.
I think they're 2 in the West. He's coaching the Western Conference All-Stars, which means that they had the best record at like the cutoff date. The cutoff date was like a week or 2 ago, or something like that. But I definitely think that Greg Popovich is by far the best coach in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you would say he turns chicken shit into chicken salad.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people have made a big thing. Remember some couple months ago when Popovich decided to send his guys home against the Heat.
Yeah, did he get fined? Like
they got fined.
What do you mean a ridiculous amount?
They got fined. They said it was like this bad thing that he did and everything, right? But the thing that most people don't remember is that the Spurs were competitive and they could have won that game.
Wait!
It's because the rookie. It's always that underdog syndrome,
his
dude.
Players home and...
They were on a road trip. They were playing on the road at Miami.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Rather than like just sitting them out, he literally just sent them home. Like, go rest.
Yeah. Take
a flight and go rest at home rather than traveling.
Because that shit's like money. Fans go to see like
So you get fined for doing that, or
you're not supposed to do that.
They did it, dude, because that's messed up for the fans. I would be pissed if I went to go see a game with Kobe Bryant against Miami, and then fucking D'Antoni's like, Kobe, you go home, and you go home, Howard. And all the starting 4, man.
And they would have won that game, or did they lose?
The Spurs did lose, but they lost by just a couple points.
They could have won. Their money, dude.
They could have won, and the Spurs did that the other day. They did that the other day as well. They played the Chicago Bulls, and they had Ginobili didn't play, Manu Ginobili didn't play, Tony Parker didn't play, Tim Duncan didn't play, and they not only beat Chicago, they won by a lot. So I mean, this guy's coaching the hell out of his players.
If we would have had him as a coach, what do you think?
The Lakers?
Who?
If the Lakers would have had Popovich.
Who was that? Dude,
was he one of the ones you were talking about? You wanted?
No, Popovich is not. Popovich is not.
I would have liked Jerry Sloan.
I think if you took pretty much any coach out from any team and replaced them with Greg Popovich, they would probably be that much. They'd probably be up there a lot more.
And he's proven.
Oh, Popovich is definitely proven. He has 4 championships. His team always competes. They always get in their 60 games. One of our writers, Daily Girth writers, Omar Jimenez, wrote this whole story about how the Spurs, how much success that they've had. There's this question of if they're still a dynasty because they never won back-to-back titles. But, I mean, they still are competitive. They win around 60 games every year. They have the 4 championships, and, they're always a threat.
What makes you a dynasty though? Like
a lot of
back-to-backs
usually.
So if you win like every other year, you're not a dynasty.
I know. I don't debate that. How does it just after you get so many?
Look at the teams who have won. All right, Kobe Bryant won back-to-back championships with Pau Gasol. He won 3 in a row with Shaq. Okay.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan won 2 3-peats.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean.
How about Tim Duncan? He got how many?
Well, Tim Duncan has 4, but he never won any back-to-backs. He never won.
So they were just like.
The Houston Rockets. They won championships in a row. Back-to-back.
They did.
They did, yeah.
I've been watching for a while, and I remember Houston.
That was in the mid '90s that they did that. That was the first year was when Michael Jordan retired from basketball, and then the second year that they won, Michael Jordan came back halfway. But
was that when he was on the Bulls again, or the?
It was when he was on the Bulls.
Oh, because I was saying the Wizards. Man.
Oh, the Wizards. That was the 2000s.
That is like he came back and he just wasn't. He wasn't him. You know, he wasn't that guy. When he was on the Wizards, he
was a lot older.
He still put up points, but
he was old.
Yeah, he was aged.
He was old. But so we talk about the Spurs. You know, we had that story in Daily Girth. You should check it out about the Spurs dynasty. We have another contender who they've been banged up a bit. The Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers. You remember?
Don't even bring the Clippers into this conversation.
The Clippers had a 17-game win streak earlier in the season, but they've been hit with a lot of injuries recently. Most notably to Chris Paul, all-world point guard. Chris Paul. You take that guy out of your lineup, any team is going to suffer, and the Clippers have. They've gone cold. They've won some games in a row. He came back recently. And
he's not the same, or what?
Well,
anyone from injury.
The big test was against Miami last week. It was a nationally televised game on ABC. I mean, not ABC, on ESPN. And the Clippers got their shit tossed, and this was everyone in the lineup. However, not everyone had been in the lineup together for a really long time. It's different.
That's what I was saying, man. What happens when you got to bring Chauncey Billups back? Grant Hill back, and they were doing good without them, like really good. That's when they went on that 17-game winning streak. Then you put them back in, and all of a sudden, like the chemistry kind of like falls apart a little bit, you know.
It takes time. It takes time for teams to come back. I think definitely when the Clippers are healthy, I think they definitely have the stuff to win a championship.
Miami, they could take Miami.
They have because
they got the big
players.
body like. Blake Griffin he doesn't have the game of LeBron, but he goes to the rim hard like does. LeBron, and maybe even harder, dude, because he always wants to slam it, you know. LeBron, he gets there and gets all, but you know what I'm saying. Most of the time they're not always dunks, you know. Mm-hmm. Only those like the open ones where he'll do a monster slam, dude.
Blake Griffin's an all-star player. He's starting in the all-star game.
But he's not LeBron James.
No one's LeBron James.
Well, I'm just saying he doesn't have that type of, But I'm saying he tries to play that all around.
He can pick up so many fouls on people going in the rim hard like that. You know, that's what they do, man.
Blake Griffin isn't as seasoned. You got to realize he's still a young player.
He looks like that type of player, you know.
He's a front court player all the way. He doesn't have the handles of anybody. I mean, he's not seasoned. He's still a young player. He's developing an outside shot. He's developing post game. So, I mean, it's going to take some time for him to be like a serious threat. He kind of reminds me of a young Karl Malone. Karl Malone back in the 80s, this is a guy who would take the ball to the basket hard. Yeah, but when Karl Malone, when he was the biggest threat, was in the late 90s, when he developed an outside shot, consistent outside shot. He could make free throws, he could draw fouls. Blake Griffin can't do that all the time yet. And if he gets there,
damn, he's gonna be
he could be really, really dangerous. So we have three. We have out west. We have the Thunder. We got the Spurs. We got the Clippers.
Golden State's pretty good. Stephon Curry, damn, that guy can light it up.
Yeah,
as a guy on the outside like that.
Golden State is great now under the leadership of their new coach Mark Jackson. He's got him playing defense. He's got him rebounding. That's something that the Golden State Warriors never did. Championship level, though, I don't think so.
They can make a good run at teams. Who knows, man? They might sneak up on a couple teams. They could. They're young, and young teams always scare me, just like the Thunder, because they just athleticism.
Another team that could be on the rise, but I'm not sure anymore. The Memphis Grizzlies. That's a team that remember they shocked the Spurs 2 years ago. They made a run last year, but now they got rid of Rudy Gay a couple weeks ago in the trade. I think that hurt
Toronto Raptors, right? Toronto.
Yeah. I think that hurt the Grizzlies.
It did.
I would think so.
They were a tougher team, but then a lot of the teams are being little bitches now because of they don't want to spend the money.
They don't want to spend the money.
But it is gonna double or triple.
The salary cap is gonna hurt everyone. Like if you're spending way too much money, you're gonna get hurt. Basically, if you're not the Lakers or the New York Knicks, you should be afraid.
Because if you're not in that big money
market, if you don't have the big money, which the Lakers and Knicks have, you're gonna pay for it literally, and you're gonna pay extra, double, triple, depending on how much you're over the salary cap.
Damn, the NBA right now is just like, I remember before it was bad, but now it's like ridiculously like, just the promoting in NBA, just all the TV shows and the NBA. There's so much money right now, like in the NBA, huh? Like it.
There's a lot of big money, like the advertising. Yeah. Think about the players who are in commercials now. We're talking about Blake Griffin. He's in Kia.
All the like, even big game James Worthy says that shit on TV. He's like, well, back in the day, we just used to go and throw a couple beers back after games.
Yeah, I like that he says
or like, and then a couple little go see the kids and stuff. But now it's like they're just following you, ridiculous. Like, your whole life is in the media.
The media. A lot of these teams. I know the Lakers have the backstage
a
Lakers
piss without knowing.
Yeah, I actually I remember early on when backstage Lakers first came out. I just said it just like because I was thinking in my head like of a possibility like. Man, backstage Lakers could be one of those things where it just records the biggest flop of ever, like they made the show to show how amazing we are, and then, if we don't do well, then it's gonna just show how everything went to shit.
Yeah.
And I was just saying that, just thinking like, oh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's over, but it's kind of showing a lot of bad stuff, and they're always on the Lakers, man. They never really get a lot of time away from the media.
Yeah.
Well,
like, as much as other teams do,
I think the media in general.
Or it's also Brooklyn.
It's also out there. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets are on the association on
the
NBA
association.
TV. But I mean, it's not just the media, like the writers and stuff who are all over these teams. These players are also out there on social media. They got their Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts. They're putting their own dirty laundry, their own bullshit out there as well. So a lot of times these media members, they don't have to work very far. Someone wants to talk shit about other players,
you just look,
you just put it up there.
Write up a story.
Well, but I mean, now it's just like even more so. It's like even now they're in the practices, like they were there before, but we didn't get to see that before.
Yeah, I think you can pretty much find that in the practice from any team, from all NBA teams. You can find some type of coverage,
but not the way the backstage Lakers is. Like, because I remember I would look online, like the actual site of the Lakers, to look up that stuff, like in the practice stuff. But now it's visible to everyone on TV,
Yeah.
And before they didn't have, and now the backstage Lakers has like it goes to the offices. Everyone who works there and everything.
I admit it. This year, dude, has been somehow have been able to keep up with everything. Like the coverage,
everything Lakers
of the NBA.
Just
in general, the NBA coverages,
the NBA. But the Lake Show, I've been able to keep up with at least that.
The NBA coverage is definitely it's out there a lot more it's accessible to everyone. They're trying to grow, throughout the whole world.
Yeah, what are they in China? It's like ridiculous over there. They love NBA, huh?
Yeah, they love the NBA in China, and there's always been rumors that they thought about the NBA expanding out towards to Europe. I don't think that'll happen.
Don't they have their own league though over there?
They have their own leagues, but I think the NBA would definitely want a presence there. But I think the travel schedule would just be.
Do you think in Europe?
Ridiculous.
In Europe, do you think they're like, oh man, like we're badass over here, and like they. But do you think, man? But the NBA, like that's just like they're like gods. They're like gods.
Yeah.
Like.
It
like LeBron James, he's the best in the world, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
really? It used to be like that.
He could probably take anyone, huh?
And if you remember the Dream Team in 1992 when they went to go play in Barcelona, yeah, they were like the gods. These players were literally like bowing before, Now not so much. The goal is to get to the NBA. Obviously, that's where the big time players play,
and the money too. Huh?
Yeah. But I mean, these European teams, they play a different style of ball. They'll compete with NBA teams for a little bit, but.
In the end.
Another thing, do you think like over there, those guys, they have posters of their European guys, or like do they have posters of like of Jordan and Kobe?
Probably both.
Oh, yeah, I would say both.
I we don't have European like I don't.
We don't even know, dude. We invented it.
We don't have to know because right now we see the best of the best of the best.
It's our game. I'd say that's the American pastime right now, man. For real.
Well, yeah. If you want to. American pastime being baseball, I would definitely say now basketball.
Yeah, now it's
football. Well, football is like the biggest one in America.
Because that's a real American.
Football and basketball are definitely ahead of baseball now. That's for sure.
For sure.
That's for sure. So we talk about all these West Coast teams that are championship contenders. honestly, other than the Miami Heat, the Eastern Conference, I don't think they really have any contenders. They have some good teams, but I mean, you take
Brooklyn has already let me down. I don't know what happened. They started out so good, and the Knicks too. They're still there. They could probably give them a run for the money.
The Knicks are still there, but
Carmelo Anthony and fucking Amari.
They're not in Miami's class, though.
After that, yeah.
Although they beat Miami twice already this season by 20 points.
That's what I said. They're a good team, and then when you play them at home,
yeah,
you play them in the Garden, or no, is it the Garden?
Yeah, they played the Garden, yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, in a 7-game series, I couldn't see the New York Knicks beating the Miami Heat unless some players from Miami were injured. Really, that I couldn't see that happening.
Oh, I was gonna say is that what do you think about the Earl Clark on LeBron James? Is that a pretty good coverage for the Lakers right now?
Well,
I mean, compared to anyone else they had guarding him.
Oh, you mean in last week's game?
I mean, because haven't really ever had anyone who could really do. But Earl Clark guards him pretty good. What do you think about that?
Well, it's hard for anyone to guard LeBron James.
I felt like he did all right.
He's the king stopper, man.
A lot of people are gonna try anything against LeBron James. Earl Clark would be the type of player with, do you want to go with someone big with Earl Clark? Yes. Or do you want to go with someone smaller? What's his name from the Grizzlies? Gosh, I can't remember his name. He's
Tony
a guard.
Allen?
Yeah, Tony Allen. He's a good player. You might want to go small with him. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to try to figure out how to stop LeBron James. Are you going to want to go with like a power forward on him? If you do that, he's going to take you off the dribble.
Yeah, he's going to blow by you.
So, I mean, there's a variety of options, and you know what? So far, no one has an answer.
I don't know. I just felt like he puts in a lot of effort. He's very active.
Watch Clark. He's going to get better, dude. He's
young too,
season
man.
Too. You never know. I'm already seeing kind of like little signs.
Like he's got a lot of. I feel like he's got potential there, man.
And he don't even talk like shit. Like after the conferences,
does his job.
He's real cool. Like
he's there to do his job.
I just try to work hard and hustle and try to get a loose ball.
He's been there like acing the whole. He came out of nowhere, Mm-hmm. He was just even at the start, like in the backstage Lakers. I'm saying I saw that. I don't even remember him on the show.
And Mike Brown, man, never wanted to play that fool, man.
It was just lucky we even brought him out.
Yeah, when D'Antoni stepped in, he took over and. Well, it's because Powell, dude. How Powell went down and Jordan Hill.
Yeah, it took all that to finally find our guy and then somewhere hidden in the bench.
Mm-hmm. So, what's it called? So we have other teams in the Eastern Conference. We have the Chicago Bulls and we have the Boston Celtics. Both those guys, I don't think that we have championship contenders there. Boston, who's out? We have Rajon Rondo. He's gone for the season.
Yeah.
And then we also the Bulls also had
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. He hasn't come back yet. I don't think he's going to save the season for them. So in all honesty, I think Miami has a clear path.
But Chicago's still in there, man. Imagine he comes back in at the end, dude.
Yeah,
he lights it up, and then he breaks his leg.
That would suck. That would suck. But they're good though. The Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau, he's one of those he's a great player. But we got our contenders. We definitely Eastern Conference. I think we pretty much all agree that Miami's the team, right?
No, I don't.
In the East, probably, yeah.
I'll never agree to that.
Yeah,
they'll be there. They'll be there. I think in the West.
But I don't have to agree.
In the West, that thing's wide open.
What about Orlando, man?
Not without Dwight Howard there.
Or Milwaukee Bucks?
No, they're not going to do anything.
Cleveland, Kyrie Irving? The Wizards, John Wall, no?
All this that you mentioned, the East, that's the problem with the East. They're so bad that all you take, even if it was just an average team or above average team, they could probably get through as long as the Heat weren't there. But since the Heat are there, they got the clear path.
Yeah, but the West is stacked, man.
I would say that the Thunder are the favorites. The Spurs are going to be there. The Clippers are going to be there. The Grizzlies could be there. If the Lakers got into there, who knows? But they have to worry about getting to the playoffs.
They're going to play number one, dude.
Yeah, so they would probably match up against Oklahoma City and, I don't know.
That'd be a sick first round, too.
Either way, though,
imagine we somehow take them out. Because I think we match up good with the Thunder. Because with Howard, by then, who knows? Powell might be back. If we did make the playoffs, that might be enough time, for him to come back. Mm-hmm. But
Well, we have a whole second half of the season to go. We'll see how it goes for the West. It might shape up differently towards the end there, but only time can tell at this point. So we're going to close this one out right here. Everyone look for our other Girthcasts. We have a Lakers Girthcast coming up, and we might have a couple other Girthcasts for you guys to check out. Rollamite, any last words you want to say?
No, man, just NBA.
All right.
Lakers.
Woo! And Death Dealer, any last closing remarks?
Nah, I don't know that much about the NBA.
Very good. So, anyway, this is I'm Mike Cervantes. Look for our other Girthcasts and listen to us later. Take care.